Hey guys, Bitcoin versus Ethereum, the Ethereum Bitcoin trade. Currently I've been short for a bit now against Ethereum along the Bitcoin side. I've been saying to bias on the Bitcoin side at the expense of most alts for the last 2 weeks odd. And it's working rather well. We've just had a micro fractal of an inverted HVF smash to target on Ethereum, but it's all part of many continuations that have occurred in the downside. We have targets right down to 4/8, and depending on exchange, possibilities even of lower. So this has been a good period for being long the big king Bitcoin. I think it's got a lot to do with some of the narratives that have been going around, but you know, I don't over fascinate with a story. We trade what we see on the charts, and Bitcoin has been the bias. One of the difficult things as a comment, when the game is to build Bitcoin value, to increase your number of Bitcoins, one of the difficult things is how to do that when Bitcoin is strong, because essentially you should just be holding Bitcoin if you're just trading in a normal sense, and that means your fiat value of those Bitcoins goes up if Bitcoin is strong, but your number of Bitcoins actually doesn't. It stays fixed. And in fact, if you have any element that's in any alts that you continue to hold and they actually are underperforming to Bitcoin, as is mostly the case, your actual Bitcoin number drops. And you don't want that. And one of the things that I've done is I've found one of the big major alts that are setting up in an inverted setup. You need to understand HVF method actually, so go to the website to find out more about that. But then I just short a small amount. I short of in this case Ethereum. I've previously done this on Ripple, so it's a major. Note that, because if you've got any form of size, you need liquidity. So don't be shorting this against number 197 on the market cap list. You aren't going to get your closure, you aren't going to get your take profits, you're going to be slipped if you've got any form of size and liquidity becomes an issue. But I have done against the major alts, and at the moment it's Ethereum, Bitcoin. This allows you actually, with a little bit of leverage, very conservative. I've virtually never used leverage. In fact, I've gone on record and said don't, and that applies to most people in most instances, most of the time. There are justifiable moments where you may, and it's very much an advanced technique, and I would say be very careful. And I tend to do it only with Bitcoin as my long. So I only do it when Bitcoin is the strong. The reason for that is we've had Ethereum itself even spike right the way down from way up in the 70s, 80s, all the way down to $5 or $6, you know, in flash crashes. So that's good for you if you're short the Ethereum and you have a target and you could get an amazing fill. It's not good for you if you've gone long Ethereum against something else, especially against something a little bit more stable. To talk of crypto's instability is a bit like military intelligence, a contradiction in terms. But Bitcoin is of the very volatile category, the most stable. It's unlikely that you get a flash crash to $7 on Bitcoin from any level, and so that's why I prefer to use it as my long. Otherwise I don't want to be long one that has a habit of a flash crashing to the downside. And then I will short it against one that is a little bit more an alt, which has good liquidity, but has an HVF method in its favor. And I will close that target, and I will also retain my own emotional comfort. If at any point it's doing anything I don't even like, this is one of the rare instances I won't even stand by stop. If I feel emotionally uncomfortable about the price action, I'll close it. Thankfully, this one has been quite good. So you can find out how you can learn more about how to do this with the methodology. That means your Bitcoin number actually grows. I use Polynex at the moment, which has a 2.5x on the leverage, which is relatively conservative, and I over allocate. So if I'm going 10 Bitcoin short, which is effectively 25 Bitcoin, as a simple example of mathematics, I won't just move the 10 there, I'll move like 15 or 16 or 17 Bitcoin, and I'll make sure that my liquidation level is well above where my stop is. So that's a quick heads up, and it is still risky, but it does allow you to accumulate additional value when Bitcoin is strong, instead of just holding your Bitcoin number. And just to hold your Bitcoin number, you have to be 100% Bitcoin. Sometimes you might have a few alts that you really want to hold on to, and that means you're actually getting eroded on your Bitcoin value. So something for you to think about. You can learn more about these more advanced techniques by visiting the website or engaging with us, the Crypto Sniper. Enjoy as I go into the tunnel. Salute.